All right, hello, and welcome to the Franchise Time Machine. This is, oops, hold on. This is my first stream as an official Out of the Park Developments affiliate, which means it's the first stream where you can get drops while watching the stream. So, enjoy the stream, enjoy the drops. What we'll be doing today is actually building the roster file for the all-time not safe for work names from across baseball history. So in the last two episodes, episodes 26 and 27, I actually have those handy. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah. So episode 26, which is still on the VODs, and if it's no longer there, if you're watching this on VOD, you can find all of my old content on YouTube, also under Franchise Time Machine. So episode 26 was the reveal of the pitcher rosters. And then we had episode 27 was the reveal of the batter rosters. Uh, Part of episode 27 included some pitchers that got left off the episode 26 list inadvertently. So between those two episodes, you'll have the complete pitcher list. So that brings us to today, which is the roster build. So what I mean by a roster build is in the base game, which you want to import players from across history from multiple years. Um, there's an import function where you can enter individual player IDs and the year you want from that player, or you can upload a text file. And the text file has to have this format: player ID, year, and then the destination team or abbreviation. So this information can be found both in Baseball Reference, baseballreference.com, and also within the game. So within the game, you can look up like retired players, or you can look up because if you start your season with the history, it'll have every player who's played before. You can pull this information from their profile. I find it easier because I need to look up their careers anyway to find what year to pull. I just grab it from Baseball Reference, and I'll show you where that is. Actually, within Baseball Reference, that player ID is in the URL. So if you look up in the top navigation bar there, in the URL, you can see the player ID. And the player ID is always the first five letters of the last name, or if it's fewer than five letters, just the last name, the first two letters of the first name, and then usually 01 if they're the first player to have that seven-letter combination, or 02, 03, and so on if there have been multiple. I already started this roster file. I had to do it anyway, so I figured I might as well do it on stream. Um, you'll see some of these don't fit that format. Like here, Dick Fitz. You'll see this is different, right? It's FITTS dash 000 RIC because he's going by Richard. That's because he doesn't have a major league record. He has a minor league record only so far. He's in AAA though in 2024, so there's a good chance Dick Fitz, also known now as Richard Fitz, will have a major league record soon. So we'll wish him luck. And yeah, otherwise you see these all follow that other convention. The other place where this gets a little tricky, and hopefully this will be different once it gets to OOTP 26. But when OOTP 25 came out, Negro League data had not yet officially been merged with MLB data, and that was announced earlier this year. So some of the Negro League data, instead of 01, we found that it has 99, and we've also found that it doesn't import well. So I'm hoping the import issue in particular, we're hoping that gets fixed. So we have all these pitchers and batters now that that we've identified. So, for example, the first pitcher on the roster was Mark Beavers, and not seeing him on the note the notepad. Did I already miss one pitcher? Let me see. Oh no, I had just scrolled down. Yeah, so Mark Beavers, right? He's the first one up there. Um, and I think for all these, this is going to be an ongoing save. So instead of a peak season, I think I might change these years to be uh, the rookie season, the first season they have a record, because then they will develop as the team continues to play. If I take peak seasons, then everyone's just going to start declining, and then we won't have, very many seasons we can play, and the team still be competitive. Although I know the point of an NSFW name team is not necessarily for it to be competitive. I think it's the entertainment value of the names, but it might be fun to see how the players develop if we start them all at their kind of earliest record. And if we do it in career mode, they'll just develop towards their potential instead of it being recalculated every season. So they might have more runway than they had in real life, which is one of the fun things about playing career mode instead of the default mode. And I'll show you that when we start up the game. Uh, so I built this view for the roster building so that I don't have to keep changing back and forth because that gets a little challenging on my side. And that way I can just kind of keep plowing through it. So this way you'll see kind of who I'm working on, right? That'll be what you see in the top left there. And then what I'm kind of looking up in baseball reference, which will be in the top right there, and then kind of writing all the information. So I think this will be the best way to move forward. Um, Hold on, I'm going to correct something here that just. Okay, that looks a little better now. Okay. So Mark Beavers, I already have his information, but since I'm changing directions to kind of get their earliest season, and you'll see he's a minor league, so he only has minor league stats, and that's also why he has this different ID format too. Uh, Beaver 0002 Don. And so we just want to make sure. Yeah, we've got that. And then in his minor league record, you'll see here that the earliest season we have is 1986. So great. I had that as his kind of peak season, but we can keep that. So now we're just going to go on to the next pitcher on the roster, which is Gene Brabender. Now he was a major leaguer, so for minor leaguers, we'll take the earliest year they're on record, and for major leaguers, we'll take their rookie season. So in Gene's case, it'll be 1966. Yeah, 1966. And you'll see here, right? He's done by the time he's 28 in 1970. But because we'll have recalc off, recalc means you can play the base game well, several ways, but two of the most common are recalc, which is each year the game refreshes each player's card or their attributes based on what they actually did that year. And so um, In Gene Bobrender's case, when it gets to 1971, he'll either have no card or a terrible card because he's had stopped playing. The other way you can do it is with recalc off, which means the game's just going to calculate some sort of trajectory for every player. And it will do so with disregard for when I do think it maybe takes into account when they stop playing, but it won't be beholden to the path that the actual career took. And instead it'll just kind of project a path based on kind of where they are and what their potential is. And so I think that's what we want for this game. Uh, a lot of times I do use recalc, but there are cases where it's maybe better to not use recalc. So for Gene Bronder, we're going to take 1966. So right now we have is 1967. So it's just a minor change, but now we have that. Okay. So then our next picture is Dick Burns. All right, Dick Burns. All right, so his first year was 1883. He went 2-12. The next year he went 23-15. Big turnaround, and then his career was over. Um, every time I see something like this, I'm always kind of curious to understand what happened. So at some point, especially if I'm going to be broadcasting on these games, I may do a little bit of research to find out like what happened to his career. That he went like from 2-12 to 23-15. Already, that's kind of an interesting story. But then I want to know why he'd really never pitched again after that. Um, there's got to be something there, and that's why I like this game. I used to think I knew a lot about baseball, and now this game shows me all the time how little I actually know and how much there is still more to learn, in a good way. All right, so Dick Burns, we're going to take 1883. And again, I had 1884 because I was taking the peak seasons before, but now I want to start them off at the beginning as much as I can. All right. Now this in this case, it's we're taking Guy Bush the pitcher. I'll have to remember to come back to get Randy Bush the batter later. Oh, you know what? I'll put them both in this list just so I don't forget. Um, I'll just have to really, it doesn't matter. Oh, so the reason I'm going to do them two separate lists is when you import a list, one of the first sanity checks I use is it'll tell you you've imported um, successfully imported 26 players, right? Normally I imported 26-person roster. If it says congratulations, you've successfully imported 25 players, I know I messed up on one of the players, and so I can go back and find the typo or whatever the error was. In this case, we're going to have over 50 players. I could do that, but then that's much harder to find that one error. So if I divide it into two smaller chunks, then if there is an error at either one, hopefully it'll be easier to find that error. That's the main reason I'm keeping it separate for now. So for Guy Bush, I already have his ID. Okay, he had a long career. You can see this very long career. And I probably took a peak season, so now I want to go back and take. He may not have a card in 2023, so I'll go ahead and look for this 2020. Sorry, not 1923. I'll take this 1924 card. Yeah, I used to have 1926, which is one of his peak seasons, his best season for whip in particular. So yeah, we're gonna just take his earlier season. All right, and then while we're here, we're gonna do Randy Bush. Okay, Randy Bush, we're going to take his 1982 rookie season. So yeah, if you look at the bottom of the part of the screen, I'm making changes to that document as we go. All right. So then our next pitcher is Doug Fister. 2009 rookie season at 25 years old. Here's Richard Fitz, who I am told by my friend who's a Red Sox fan and knows of him being in the minor league system up there that he did go by Dick Fitz at one point. And I don't know if they'd have his Auburn stats. That would be cool, but I think our best shot at getting any stats from him would be starting in 2022, uh, when he played a little bit of A ball. Oh no, okay, and then he played in Tampa too. So that's a yeah, for the whole year he pitched 112 innings. I think they have a good shot of finding his data in 2022. All right, we already have that for him. Good, great. So then our next pitcher is so that was Dick Fitz. And we're on to Charlie Fuchs. All right, so Charlie Fuchs. I mean, they're Major League season, so they should all be in there. So we'll go 1942. I got our other cover boy for this episode, Charlie Furbush. And 2011. I didn't realize until I did this that he had came up with Detroit before coming to Seattle. Seattle's where I saw him pitch. So we'll take that 2011 season. Let's see, Pud Galvin. I got that picture. I wasn't sure if Pud was just slang I grew up with in the Northeast or it was more global. So I checked an Urban Dictionary and I figure if it's in there, it's global enough. It knows the same definition I grew up knowing too. So he has like a bit of a season in 1875 where he pitched well, but only 62 innings. But then his career really doesn't seem to start until 1879. So we'll pick 1879, not his very first season, but so he pitched really well as an 18-year-old, and then apparently, I assume he was in the minors, and then in 1879 as a 22-year-old, uh, pitched a full season. So we'll pick 1879. If it were for that big gap, I would have taken the very first year, but okay. And then we've got Mel Harder. Thanks to all this streaming and all this working on the rosters, I can now say most of these names without laughing or giggling. So I think that's definitely progress. All right, let's see what we got here from Mel Harder. Look at that. That's a long career. He's one of the real legit players on this team. So he had little stubs of seasons in 28, 29, but I'm going to grab this first full season he pitched in 1930. I think also by taking some of these, for the minor leaguers, taking the earliest record I can find, and then for the major leaguers, taking their rookie season or their first full season, I think that'll also give us a little bit of chronological diversity. So maybe some of those minor leaguers, as they develop, can kind of take the place of some of the major leaguers who maybe their careers ended, and even without recalc, they kind of fade from the game. We can replace them. Um, I'm also anticipating people are going to recommend names that I hadn't found, and that will have additions to the team that way too. All right, so we're already up to Buck Hooker. Okay. Wow. He only had two real slivers of seasons, so we'll grab 1902 and hope for the best and hope he can stick around for a little while. Because with the name Buck Hooker, he definitely deserves to be on this team. I just hope the simulation engine lets him stick around for more than slivers of 2 years. Be really curious to see how this works out. Usually, when I've done that mode with the recalc off, it's been with established major leaguers who had at least had a few seasons of careers. I don't know what it's going to do with these players who just slivers of major league time or slivers of minor league time, even in some cases. Um, so I'm going to learn along with everybody else when we get to those players, and we get I don't think it'll happen maybe in the first season, but it should happen in the first couple seasons. All right, Dick Hyde. Yeah, he had a decent career. Yeah, have some runway with this guy. I hope we're not going to take this two inning season in 1955, and then he had a year away, so I'm assuming that was in the minors. Uh, we'll grab this 1957 when he would have hit his rookie limits as a 28-year-old, pretty old for a rookie, especially back then, because back then it seemed like when you hit 30, there was a cliff. Um, but yeah, we'll take that 1957 as his inaugural season for the team. Okay. And then this is something I had left off. Um, I mean, Johnson's one of those names like uh, Dick, where it's just too easy of a name unless you have an additional name that really puts it over the top. And given, that Randy can mean sexually aroused, I think Randy Johnson is definitely an auto ad. So, and he gives us a great pitcher too. So let's not forget that. Almost certain to be the ace of this team. So here's one. His name is common enough. Jons, right? So Johnson, first five letters, and then R.A. There have been enough Johns R.A. previously where he's the fifth one with that letter combination. So with a lot of these combinations, you can guess O one, but with some of the more common last names, um, You got to look it up. And it looks like he was a rookie in 1988. Let me confirm that though. Mhm. Yep, 1988 with Montreal. He only came off for 26 innings of the year, so let's take 89. His first full season split between Montreal and Seattle. Let's take 89. Still not his far from his peak, but the crazy thing is, I doubt we'll do this sim long enough to get to his real peak, right? Which doesn't happen till I feel like it's when he's in um almost 30 years old. Yeah. Oh well, yeah, we can see it right here. I don't have to guess. I can just see it right here. Where he really reins in the control, gets his walks, consistently under triple digits for a change, and becomes like the dominant pitcher um, that we kind of remember him to be. Crazy too how long he was effective. I mean, look at all these seasons with 200 plus strikeouts. He's 41 years old and still throwing a 200 strikeout season. The only one I can remember being that good for that long as a power pitcher was Nolan Ryan. Other pitchers, I think, reinvented themselves later in their careers, but those two were power pitchers all the way to the end. And the end was a long time. So, um, yeah, in fact, I'm a little disappointed. Like with this method, we'll miss his peak seasons, but I think for the good of the team, I like that we're going to start everyone early in their careers. Or maybe for some of the older players, we can start, or maybe for some of the players with longer careers, we can start them closer to their peak. Um, if I were to do that, what would I take for him? I would probably take 93, the first year he kind of gets the control in order. But I'm making an executive decision here. For Randy Johnson, we're going to take a peak season. 93. It's a peak, but relatively early in his peak. Um, who was it? Also, I think, was it Fister? A couple of these other pitchers had longer careers. Not, I mean, he had a long career, but who was it? Oh, maybe it was Guy Bush. Oh yeah, like a Guy Bush. He has plenty of runway here, so I think maybe we can pick a season other than 20. What did we pick for him? We picked 24 for him, which is here. I think maybe we can pick 1928 for him. So Guy Bush, oh, 1928. All right, so now we're gonna have a bit of a mix for players who had long major league careers. We're gonna pick a early peak season. For everyone else, we're gonna pick their first season. And so now we'll have a mixture of waves of players, right? We'll have some players where it's their first minor league season, so they'll have time to develop. For others, it'll be their first major league season, so they'll hopefully develop pretty quickly. And for others, we'll pick early peak seasons, so that we'll have a good mix on the team. And then if we go more than a few seasons, we can still have kind of a pipeline of talent. So I'm treating this as like a serious team and not just players with funny names because I would like for this save to go on longer than one season. I think the other one, I think it was Brabender that maybe had a longer career. No, it wasn't Brabender. Okay, if it's not Fuchs or Harder, then I'm gonna go back to the list and just keep going. It wasn't Fuchs. Uh, maybe Mel Harder. Yeah, there we go. There we go. What year we took for Mel Harder? We took 34. Oh no, okay, this is where we started. Oh wait, we didn't take his early season or an early peak. So his rookie year, I mean, the year we should have taken was 30. Um, Actually, I think that's close enough to his peak that maybe we just stick with 30 for him. Or if you consider his peak to be 34, 35, maybe we just start him in, uh, let's take 32. It's the first year his whip's under 1.5. It's the first year's ER plus is over 120. So let's start him in 1932. So Mel Harder will change to 1932. Okay. So I'm comfortable with this change we made based on Randy Johnson. So next is Johnny Cucks. I think his rookie year is close enough to his peak year that we just take his rookie year of 1955. Just have to make that change by 1 year. You scroll this up a bit so we can make sure you can keep seeing everything we're doing here. All right, so we're good there with Johnny Cucks. And then we've got Eddie Kuntz. Eddie Kuntz. Oh, I didn't realize there's an Earl Kuntz too. Look at that player. Look at that picture. Uh, Pitched 21 games for Pittsburgh in 1923. Well, I think the Kuntz name is going to be fine represented by Eddie. Although, you know what? Earl's got the more complete, had a more complete season. Do we switch to Earl? I'm tempted to switch to Earl. Although, as a Mets fan, I do like going with Eddie. We're going to stick with Eddie. He's a Met. He's a Met. We're going to stick with the Mets. And he only had the one season, so we're good there. And Dick Manville. Well, he only has two seasons to pick from, and one is a really short stub of a season, so we'll do 52 for him. Oh, you know what? Because it was so short, I might have picked 50. Well, I just don't think we might not find data for this guy at 50, but we'll leave it as 50. If we come up one player short on the import, I'll suspect that it's him because of um, his low number of innings pitched, and then we'll just have to find it and correct it to 1952. All right, that'll be part of the experiment, seeing if he has data. All right, then we got Trey McNutt. This is where I have to start copying and pasting player IDs again. And oh yeah, he has this Giants picture, but he must have not made it to the majors because he has this minor league ID. So for him, we'll take. Oh, look at this. He had a pretty thorough minor league career, though. Lots of data to pick from, I hope. So which year should we pick? By 2010, 116 innings pitched, he should have some data in there. So we'll pick 2010. All right, Trey McNutt, Dave Moorhead, and Seth Moorhead. And I just realized today during a draft that Seth Moorhead does have a card in PT 25. In fact, I might have picked him in honor of this team. I was really excited to see him on there. But we'll start with Dave Moorhead. And I think I have both of them on here because we one was a lefty, so I wanted that lefty ready mix. And 1963 is perfect because he actually comes out of the gate strong with a 10 and 13 record. And we're going to need pitchers like that in our first season. And 1963, then let's go to Seth Moorhead. Uh, he was pitching in relief, so he only had 58 innings pitched, but that's 34 games. So I think that 1957 season is plenty. So Seth Moorhead from 1950s. Oh, so let's grab his player ID from the URL. $19.57. Pull. Wow, this is tough. Oh, off to the side here, I'm watching one of my teams perform in the late Iron 2 tournament, and we have advanced to the semifinals. And this is a team that only has a couple combinators, and I've already gotten past one almost all combinator team. So this is why I keep plugging in. I do well in the live tournaments because they don't have combinators in them. But I still keep plugging away at these standard tournaments too, just because sometimes you get lucky you don't hit any combinator teams, or sometimes you get lucky and you're able to get past the combinator team. That's what's happening tonight. I made it to the semis, and the team I'm playing does have some combinators, a handful of pitchers, more on the batter side, but they're all seem to be like level 1 through 3, so I might still have a chance at this team. But yeah, sorry, that's what I'm doing on the side here, watching this team go. Okay. So Dick Pole, in 1970, the first season, he's pitching out of the pen most of the time anyway until 75. That's when his innings really start to pick up. Uh, but 12 games, 15 games as a rookie and a second year player, that's not nothing. I don't mind taking his rookie season. We'll take 1973 for him. Oh, I forgot to get his ID. And then 1973. Elmer Sexauer. I think this is a very underrated NSFW name. Until you say it out loud, Sexauer. Kind of reminds me of like the Flight of the Concorde's business time. It's Sexauer. Unfortunately, only had one season, a very short season, two-thirds of inning pitched, split over two games. Uh, so I'm hoping the game will have a card for him and give him enough runway where we can keep him around for a while because I like the name Elmer Sexauer quite a bit. So 1948 is the season. Urban Shocker. This is one of those, if you know, you know. Hey, Gumbercules! Welcome to the stream. You can get drops from me now. I think you're probably starting your day, so maybe I'll give you your first drops of the day. Oh, you love that song, the Business Time song? Yeah, when I heard Elmer Sexauer, I immediately thought of Business Time. And that's why I hope he sticks around the team for a while. So Urban Shocker. Flight of the Conchords is a great show with great songs. I agree, Gumbercules. I agree. And while it was popular, I was always surprised it wasn't more popular. But maybe for its time was popular enough. It was like I think pre like things going real like clips going real viral. So okay, now for this guy, this could be our first real conundrum. He's got little chunks of seasons in 16 and 17. If we assume this save is going to last at most 3 years, 3 or 4 seasons, I'd really like to get that 21 season where he's in his prime, which means we'd have to pick 18 or 19. I think that's fair, though. I mean, these are, although he did pitch 145 innings in 1917. All right, let's grab 1917. Although, what's the cutoff? We did say if they have an established major league season, we can pick something in their early peak. So if we're to do that, we could grab 19. Yeah, I'm fine grabbing 1919. Let's do that. Yeah, Go Berkeley's. I don't know if you got to see any of the roster reveals where I revealed the whole pitcher roster and then the batters roster. But I'm now putting together the roster import document, which is the less fun part of the process, but it's important to do. It had to be done at some point anyway, so I figured I might as well do it um, on stream so people get drops. So Gumbercules, you had to watch the VOD for that episode. Okay, but you got to see it. I'm glad you got to see it. We had a lot of fun doing it. Um, Especially on the pitchers one. Dr. Dynastic and Ezra Denny joined us, and Cheeky and Max LP were bringing the jokes too, and we had a really good time. All right, so Urban Shocker, you are in the roster sheet. All right, Bert Sincock. So I'm trying to think of birthdays. When I was in Australia, I remember seeing lots of Australian rules football, and I think cricket too was going on, and then also rugby. You guys must have some all-time good, not safe for work names in those sports, right? Are there any like super well-known ones? Or Sincock, the pitcher. Player ID here. So he only has one season, so we got to go with 1908. All right. That's Bert Sincock, Cannonball Titcomb, or Titcomb. I can't find a pronunciation anywhere. Go with Titcomb, but I kind of hope it's Titcomb because then we kind of get two names in that last name. Titcomb. All right. I think that first season's a bit of a sliver, so I think we can. He got a short career though, so maybe we want that 86 season. Oh, his player ID is Titcoca. Titcoca 01. Coca 01. I think we will take your. I'll go with that 86 season. Take your first season, 1886. For the AFL, that's Aussie Rules football, right? Steel side bottom. Oh my goodness. That is an all-timer. Steel side bottom. And Danny Dickfoss. Either way. Those are both solid Hercules. Thanks for those. Man, steel side bottom. That's an all-timer. Oh, actually, you know what? I've been keeping track of names for I want our team to have like an NHL correspondent and an NFL correspondent. Our AFL correspondent is going to be Steel Sidebottom. And that was courtesy of Gumbercules. Yeah, our NHL correspondent is going to be Ron Tugnut. All right, so that's Cannonball Titcomb. Oh, yeah, Lap's favorite, Chen Ming Wang. He can't get enough Wang, he keeps saying. Almost oh yeah, when I was doing this, I also realized that there was a Wee Chung Wang too. Um, but I think he did not have as good of a career. So I was fine with Chen Ming Wang. And you know, he starts out of the gate pretty strong with 8-5, and then goes on to 19-6. So I'm fine grabbing his 2005 season. Right. This one's for Lap. All right. And then we've got Dick Wants. Dick Wants. Is there a Dick Gets? Because what Dick wants, Dick gets would be great. Is there a Dick Gets? Ah, I know there's a Gets though. Chris Gets and Gus Gets. And Pretzels Getsian. But there's no Dick Gets. So know what Dick wants, Dick gets. We do have Dick Wants. Wants DI 01. That's his player ID. And the season we're going to grab for him is, well, not much choice, 1965. That's another one where I see this career, right? It's like one game, one inning. Well, struck out two in his one inning, but had an 18 ERA. Striking out two though, that's pretty good. And this picture makes you wonder, like, what did he go on to do afterwards? All right, let's see. And Fred Woodcock. This brings us to the end of the pitchers list that was originally rolled out, and then we got a few others that I had to intro in the batters list because they had fallen off my list somehow. So we have Fred Woodcock. Only one season, 1892. Makes it easy. Okay. All right. So now we're into the batters reveal, but we started the batters reveal with some of the pitchers I'd left off inadvertently. So we've got Booth Bonser, hoping to definitely get one of his Mets years. Now, wait, why did I think he played with the Mets? Was he drafted by the Mets? No. Oh, wait a second, but he's wearing a Mets uniform in that picture. Huh. I wonder if he went to spring training with the Mets trying to make a comeback or something. But I guess we'll take that 2006 season, Minnesota, his rookie season. 2006. So, Berkeley's, what are you up to today? I have to remember it's your day still. It's my night over here. Okay. Boof Bonser. Radhames Dikhoff. Now, he's a minor leaguer, so we'll have to hope he has stats in the game. Dikhoff. Radhames Dikhoff. But he's a lefty, too. We need lefties. Oh, wait, he does have a major league season. 1998. Making hamburgers for your daughter's dinner in about 20 minutes. It's 4:30 p.m. Who doesn't like hamburgers? Everyone likes hamburgers. Well, I guess anyone who's not vegetarian or vegan probably likes hamburgers. 1998. I don't know why I thought Dickoff was a minor leaguer only. I'm glad he has a major league stat line. At least he'll have a card for sure. Those aside, everyone likes hamburgers. Yeah, I think so. And I think hamburgers are a good vehicle for trying to, like, slip a piece of lettuce or a tomato in there. Try to get my kids to eat some veggies that way. All right. So Jansen Junk, 2021. That's what you use them for: lettuce, tomato, and beetroot. Beetroot. I only know beetroot from, I think it was the movie Twins. One of the characters that was like trying to buy the prototype engine they had stolen or found or something was named Beetroot McKinley. If that's right, I'm amazed at my long-term memory for trivial movie information. But that's the only time I've ever heard the word beetroot. Is the name Beetroot McKinley. 19 or 2021. Okay, you know what? That is great trivia. Now I got to see if that's right. Beetroot McKinley. Ah! Corrupt Texas businessman in the 1988 movie Twins. Never let it be said I don't know my obscure movie trivia. Beetroot McKinley. Although, if I were so knowledgeable, you would think then I would know what beetroot is. I don't know what beetroot is, which seems like more obvious information. Can you educate me on what beetroot is? Or is it just what we call beets? Because we eat beets and they are roots. So maybe you just call them beetroots and we just call them beets. Ours is a red vegetable. Oh, okay. All right. Well, Beetroot McKinley is a much better character name than Beat McKinley. So I wholeheartedly endorse the use of beetroot. Oh, so that's interesting. You just slice it thin and serve it on a hamburger? Gene crap. Exactly. Okay. Do you grill it up first? Sometimes pineapple and bacon, huh? Pineapple is very divisive here as a pizza topping. It's a love-hate thing, I think, with pineapple as a pizza topping. You've heard. Is it not divisive in Australia? Is it like universally acclaimed as a pizza topping and a hamburger topping? Hate as a kid, now I don't mind it so much. Now, don't get me wrong, I like pineapple on its own. I think pineapple's great. And I like pizza. Oh, is it divisive there as well? Okay. All right. I just don't like them together. And in general, I think I don't like sweet and savory combined together very much. Okay, so that's our pitchers list. And now I'm going to do a separate batters list so that if there are problems, it'll make it easier, at least in theory, to find those problems. Um, Based on my first reality check, is when it says how many players you successfully imported. If it's across two separate lists, I'm hoping that if there is an error, I can find that error a lot faster. All right, so our first player is Joe Adcock. Oh, that's a nice long career. So we can, if we choose to, we can take one closer to his peak. But he came out of the gates pretty strong anyway. He had a 293 average as a rookie. Um, he was just penalized by the fact that this was pre-rookie of the year voting, or I would think a 293 average and a 742 OPS as a rookie would have him in the running for a rookie of the year award. So we'll just stick with his rookie season here for Joe Adcock. Take his 1950 season. Uh-oh, is it not showing up now? Oh, okay, hold on. Let me figure out here. Okay, I have to update. Okay, there we go. Joe Adcock. All right, who's next? Berkeley, did you see the batters reveal as well? Or or do you not know what names are coming up? George Bone. There he is. George Bone, shortstop. Easy choice. One season to pick from. 1901. You saw the names. Luckily, you were by yourself. Couldn't stop laughing. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Sometimes these ideas are better in concept than in execution. But the fact that chat had me cracking up and that I heard, now that I hear you were laughing when you were hearing it, uh, or seeing it at least, I'm glad. I'm glad that the humor translated to people other than myself. Yeah, some of these I just can't believe their names when you actually see them in print. And so if you were only watching, then you might not have heard me explain. When I pick someone who's got like a nickname, I only accept that nickname on the team if it's accepted enough that it's their first name in Baseball Reference or Wikipedia. So they have to be like pretty established nicknames to be considered as like the reason they're on the team. And so you'll see that coming up with like some like Boob Fowler. Boob's not his given name, but his nickname is so cemented in his identity that he's listed as Boob Fowler, I think, in Baseball Reference, or it could be Wikipedia. All right, so we got Benny Bocock. Probably a good thing you weren't at work either, because you've been listening on headphones and started laughing out loud. That might have gotten you in trouble, and I would have felt pretty bad. All right, Benny Bocock. We're gonna take your 1903 season. Stubby Clap. Just the 2001 season. I guess it's just the odds of baseball, but it is interesting that so many of these people with like Hall of Fame player names, all time great player names, just had like bits of one season in the majors. But I guess if you throw a dart at a list of baseball players, chances are most of them only had a part of one season. So I guess it's not that surprising. Jim Cockman, who the author of that article said is pretty good with the stick. Jim Cockman. 1905 is the year we're going to grab. Rick Cox. From the Department of Redundancy Department, Mr. Dick Cox. Oh, two full seasons. And look at that, a 329 average in your rookie year? How did you only play two seasons? Hmm. Wow. There's got to be a story here. This is another one. I got to look into this later on. I got to find out what happened to this guy's career. It's not like he flamed out. He hit 296 the second year. There's got to be a story there. And I like to find it. Take that 1925 season. And Johnny Dickshot, favorite from PT24. All right, well, his rookie season by far the best one. I guess we'll have to grab that. Oh, good for him. He had a little bit of a career after the war too. All right, 1937 we're going to grab. Now Berkeley is saying D Block named one of his teams after that guy. Yeah, that's right. Dick Shot's dugout. And he actually told us on stream yesterday the story behind it, which is uh, apparently, I might get this first part wrong, but it might be after he quit playing or was let go from the team. He went and started a bar and named it Dick Shot's Dugout. I know the last part's right, that he started a bar with the name Dick Shot's Dugout, but that's right. Yeah, I think if you ask anyone who played PT24 who the biggest Johnny Dickshot fan was, they would say D Block for sure. He was pretty known for his fandom of Johnny Dickshot, just as Lap is known for his fandom of Kitty Bransfield and Chen Ming Wang. Kitty and Wang. All right, who do you have next here? Oh, interesting. Johnny Dickshot's player ID is DixJO01. DixJO01. All right, here we go with Boob Fowler. All right, 1923. And Dave Steve, that's right. Kitty, Wang, and Steve. All right, you got Boob Fowler now. And Keisuke Fukudome, which is not a problem if you say it right. But this one looks really bad on paper too. Fukudome. All Stars a rookie. Thank you very much. We need players going to be hot right out of the gate. So Fukudome is probably going to be one of our starting outfielders. Oh, I'm up 3-0 in the semifinal of this late Iron 2, and I have only two combinators on my team. We have a Japanese restaurant near you called Fukutonte. Fukutonte. No one says it correctly. No, imagine not. No, it is funnier if you don't. I bet they knew what they're doing too, because they could have picked any name, I'm sure. I bet they sell tons of merch. I they must be selling T-shirts, right? And why name your restaurant that if you're not going to sell merchandise? I mean, I'm sure it must be their family name or something. They do. Okay, I'm glad they're taking advantage of it. I mean, I'm sure it's their family name or something, but if you're going to do it, you might as well cash in on it. Is it good? Have you eaten there? Is the food good there? Ah, Jack Glasscock. This is one where the first name adds a little bit to it too. The last name is good enough, but Jack Glasscock. Yeah, really good food there. All right. Fukutonte. I'll have to try to visit there sometime if I were in Australia. Jack Glasscock. Oh, that's a long career to choose from. This is one where if we pick too early of a season, we'll miss the good stuff. So I have to be pretty careful here about what season we pick. Let's see. If we think we're only going to get 3 seasons or so out of this, I think maybe we want to wait till around here. So let's grab 1884. It's a split season, but he hit 313, and it seems like it's the start of this run of really good seasons. So let's take the 1883 or 1884. 1884 Jack Glasscock. All right. Johnny Gooch. Always need catchers on these kinds of teams. Catchers, second baseman, and left-handed pitchers. So we're quite lucky to have Johnny Gooch on our team here. We're going to ignore this little stub of a 21 season and go this first full season, 1922, where he hit 329. A catcher who hits 329, that's gold. I can't imagine he's not going to be a starting catcher for this team. Woody held. Woody held. what he held here. Let's see. Oh, this is a long career. Wow. Some of these players I only know through Perfect Team. Sometimes I'm shocked they only have one season. Other times, like this guy, I'm shocked he has such a long career. Let's see. We'll take. See, look at this. He only hit 204 and 58, 214, 194. He doesn't really figure it out until 1959, where he hits 251. His OPS hits 778. So I think let's pick him up in 1959. It starts a run of some really nice seasons for him, at least, of 700 plus OPSs. So let's start with 59 for him. Late career, but we've got minor leaguers and stuff too to balance him out. So I'm okay with taking him later career. 1959. All right, Woody held. And Dick Hunt and Mike Hunt. Funny and dirty for different reasons. Dick Hunt sounds like a euphemism uh, for some kind of dirty game. And Mike Hunt, well, it just sounds like Mike Hunt. Hey, I made the finals of this late iron too, with only two combinator cards. These are gold Hercules. You like Dick Hunt and Mike Hunt, or maybe Dick Hunts for Mike Hunt. I really have to have this slide up, otherwise it sounds really wrong when I'm saying Mike Hunt. Michael Hunt. Just one season for Dick Hunt, so we'll take that 1872 season. And Mike, unrelated, completely unrelated, Dick Hunt and Mike Hunt, as far as I know. And you see here, Mike Hunt has one of those minor league IDs, so we'll have to hope that we can find Mike Hunt in the game. Related in comedy, yes, very much so. I think the minor league record is hit or miss, especially going back that far. So we'll have to keep our fingers crossed. Well, he had a long minor league career. That increases the likelihood that we can find Mike Hunt in the game. All right, we'll start with 1929. If we can't find it, we'll just keep going year by year. All right, let's see. Okay. Ah, Heavy Johnson. This is another one where his nickname is so associated with his name. He's listed here as Heavy Johnson as BRF, so I have no problem calling him Heavy Johnson in the game. Look at this first full season, 406. Now he's one. Uh, we're probably gonna have to do some surgery in the game where it's going to pull his Negro League record. It's gonna be severely underpowered. We had this happen with Josh Gibson, and we have to go back into. We have to create a 1922 sim, find the records for it, and then bring him into the game. But it's gonna be worth it because look at these stats: 406 batting average, 1165 OPS, even better than next year. Amazing. Gotta get this guy in. 1922. All right, you got Heavy Johnson, Randy Johnson, Snapper Kennedy. You see here it says name presented as Snapper Kennedy in some sources. That was enough for me to accept it as a name. 1902. Yeah. Ah, Rusty Kuntz, an all-time favorite. I had this baseball card well before I ever played Perfect Team, and he had a good PT-24 card that I think introduced him to a new generation of baseball fans. But I was lucky enough to have some of his baseball cards. Another one like Fukudome, where if you say the name right, it's not a problem, but I'm sure he gets a lot of incorrect pronunciations of his name. And the word Rusty as a first name also adds a little bit of flair to it. I guess we'll take this. Now, we can take this 81 season or we can take the 83 season. If we take the 83, he doesn't have much runway left. You've heard the name of the female German skier. No way. Is this real? Fanny Schmeller? We do need an alpine skiing corresponding of Hercules. Thank you. That's an amazing one. That's amazing. Wow. Absolutely real. Okay. I'm fine with just making her our entire winter sports correspondent. I think that's that solid of a name. Uh, I think we could just take. Well, if we take 83, you only got 2 years of runway with him. I think we'll start in 81, maybe. Let's do 81. All right. Oh, this is an I have a second picture after the stream. Um, D Block told me that about this video. It's it's the song. Oh, you know this? It's like the World Cup song um for the England team, and this was from the music video. I like that there's the one Klinsman jersey, and then the rest are all Kuntz. It makes it even more obvious that they were doing it on purpose, which is great. The one I had originally on the stream, and this I picked for D Block, so I appreciate him giving me one back. This meme, which I remember at the time, and then when I was putting Rusty Kuntz on this roster, I wanted to get this picture because I think at the time Kuntz was a base coach for the Royals, so big that. All right, Pete Lecoq. All right, Mr. Pete Lecoq. This one totally sounds made up. Pete Lecoq, you'd be like, oh, no, seriously, what's your real name? Let's see. These are too short a season, so we'll go with 1974. Although it's a pretty terrible season, so maybe we give him a break and start in 75. I mean, he peaks here in 77, 78. If we're going to do 3 or 4 seasons only, let's start in 76. Start at 76. All right. Danny Mendick. This actually sounds like the name if you asked an AI to come up with a name of a male human for you, it would come up with Danny Mendick. All right, we'll just start here with this 2019 season. Good mix of modern and old players here, I think. Dizzy Nutter. Everett Nutter, but name presented as Dizzy Nutter in some sources, so that was good enough for me. And only one season, 1919. Dizzy Nutter, his player ID is Nutted I 01. Spotswood Poles, a fan favorite from PT24. Only one season. I wonder if that's because of um, the unfortunate lack of Negro League record availability. All right, and then we've got Albert Pujols, the one that I'm always amazed. I seem to be the only one laughing about. Yeah, now that's a career we can pick any season here for this dude. But he was so good out of the gates. Let's just start with his rookie year. Keep on going. I mean, what a rookie season. 1013 OPS as a rookie. Man, unbelievable, this guy. And he's one of those guys, too. Unfortunately, I think like he played so long, but towards the end of the career, he was nowhere near his peak. And his peak started so early. I think people forget how good he really was. Oh, wait, I forgot to get his player ID. 90 Sand. 90 Sand. Yeah, we'll just take that rookie season, 1923. All right, Heidi Sand, you're on the roster. Officially now, because you're on the roster sheet. Okay. We're getting close to the end here. Oh, Dick Sizzler. Son of a Hall of Famer, has a Hall of Fame name. Dick Sizzler. For Berkeley's, do you have the chain of Sizzler restaurants in Australia? Actually, I don't even know if they exist in America anymore either, but there's a chain of steakhouses called Sizzler, and they had an all-you-can-eat, uh, like salad and sides buffet. Anyway, I don't know if Dick Sizzler would be a great endorsement or a terrible endorsement for Sizzler. Dick Sizzler. Okay, had a little bit of a rookie season in 46, but then something happened there. Yeah, in the 80s, but they're all closed down now. They might be closed here now too, now that I think about it, but Would endorsement by Dick Sizzler made you more or less likely eat at Sizzler? I'm gonna go with 1948. Seems like more of his actual rookie season. I think most people remember Sizzler from the scene in White Man Can't Jump, where they said, "We're going to Sizzler, we're going to Sizzler." Cy Studley. 1872. 0.095 batting average, 0.095 on base percentage, 0.095 slugging. Tony Suck. This is Charles Warbot's favorite name to reference. There he is, Tony Suck. I don't think we want that bit of a 83, so we'll take 84. Let's see Tebow. Let's see Tebow. Here's another one where we will confirm that pussy is an established enough of a name. Now look at that. Not even a in sources found as Pussy Tebow. He's just Pussy Tebow. Hey D Block, welcome to the stream. We are building the roster file that we're going to upload into the game to put this team into. I'm thinking 2023, and maybe, well, I want this to be a multi-season sim though, so maybe I'll put that out for debate as to what year we should start this sim. Um, I think I'm gonna have fun announcing it, so I was gonna do Instead of a season sim, like a speed sim, I was gonna just do like a couple games per stream and do it like the way Ezra Denny does his Giants um sims. And I like these names enough that I want to do it like for a couple seasons. So if I don't want to start in 2023 if that's the case. But then I don't know what season I would want to start in. Oh, maybe maybe it makes sense to start in 1969. Or is that too on the nose? It would be the season of the Miracle Mets. Oh, only one season to pick from for Pussy to Bow. 1895. All right, that's Pussy to Bow. Then we got Butts Wagner. About time for your midday nap. Up since 2 a. You've been up since 2 a.m. your time. Jeez. All right, man. Enjoy your nap. Thanks for popping in. I might do the first game tomorrow night, D Block, if you want to check it out. And if you have suggestions for what year to start the sim in, let me know. Have a good nap. Butts Wagner. Third baseman, center fielder, and shortstop. Looks like multiple seasons, but it's a split season, so he only has 1898 to pull from. I did say that these players are from all eras, but now that we've been through them, I think there's a lot more from like the dead ball era. I wonder if just like names back then, maybe it's like slang changing and stuff, so that names back then that didn't seem weird are so funny to us now. All right, and then this is our last picture. Redwood Head. People weren't as dirty minded as now. Maybe, yeah, could be, or maybe like Pussy to Bow. Where's that guy? Pussy to Bow. Maybe like Pussy wasn't didn't mean what it means now back then. But like butts, I assume butts is always always has meant butts. Or maybe he smoked a lot and they were like cigarette butts before it meant butts. Let's Um, wait, did I add butts yet or not? I'm losing track here. I did add butts. Okay. Butts would have been funny in medieval times. It can't not be amusing. Oh yeah, Redwood Head. Redwood Head is another one like Dick Burns, where it sounds like a medical condition. Redwood Head. Yeah, this is the best picture I can find of this dude. It's similar to the one they have here. Uh, oh, awesome! I didn't know this. Bats unknown, throws unknown. Oh, that's great. That's unknown throws unknown. Awesome. All right, so let's see where Red Woodhead gets us. Okay, we got here from Red Woodhead. Hey, Cheeky, thank you for the raid. You're gonna lurk? Yeah, no worries, man. I'm finishing up this the roster document. We need to upload this team into the game. We're almost done, so I think I'm gonna do a quick test upload. I'm not gonna play the game yet because I want to save that for a fresh stream, and also I don't have the voice for it right now because I'm still getting over a cold. But yeah, so we're just picking out seasons. I want to set up as a multi-year stream because I'm assuming I'm going to like broadcasting this enough that I'll want to do more than just one season of it. Um, so for all the minor leaguers, I'm picking the first year where they had a decent amount of stats. For most of the major leaguers, they only have one or two seasons anyway. But if there's a choice, then I'm going to pick a year that's like at the beginning of their peak era, so they can have a little bit of runway. But what I'm hoping is like as we sim, maybe in the second or third year, some of these younger players will then develop enough to get a spot on the team, so that we can bring some new names into the stream. And as always, I'll be looking for recommendations for new names to add. I wouldn't mind if this goes on for years as like my typical Monday or Tuesday night stream, but we'll have to see. Oh man, so I made it to the finals of this late Iron 2 tournament, and I actually managed to beat a mostly combinator team. But in the finals, I ran into this team that's it looks like it's all combinators, and they're all like level 4 and 5. So that run's about to come to an end. But it's unusual to make such a deep run now in these iron tournaments because I don't have many. I have like two combinators total. All right, so Red Woodhead, we're gonna take this 73 season, I guess. Oh no, that's nothing in season. We'll have to take 79. That's kind of a bummer. All right. Oh no, 1879, not 1979, 1879. Okay, so now we're gonna test out this. Actually, let me get a count first. Okay, so this file has 29 lines. So that means we have 29 batters, and we have 32 pitchers. Now, the reason those counts are important are oh, Cheeky saying D Block, thank you for coming as a guest. I think it went great. Yeah, Cheeky, I actually heard most of your stream. It was really interesting hearing. So Cheeky had D Block and Charles, aka Warbot TBD, on his stream, helping him pick out gold and low diamond rosters. And I thought it was really interesting that they had different approaches. Like D Block was saying his approach was to kind of get in the money in as many tournaments as possible, and Charles is to try to win as many tournaments as possible. So as a result, they had um, different approaches to picking players, and therefore had like different players to recommend. I think I tend to take more of the D block approach because I'm trying to get into PTCS, which is the Perfect Team Championship Series, which you get into by getting points for tournament play, and you get points by placing high. And you, granted, you get more points for winning, but you can get enough points by placing high to qualify for PTCS. So that's more of my approach, which I think is more like D Block's approach. Okay, so let's go to the game now. We'll upload these and make sure they work. So we're going to want to create a game. All right, so let me switch over to the game. Where is my... Hold on, sorry, I can't find my... Oh, here it is. All right, here's the game. All right, so we're going to create a new historical game. Hey, Chiki, if you're still around, I was mentioning that since I want this to be a multi-year save, I don't necessarily want to start in 2023. So, what do you think about starting in 1969? Oh, perfect. It's also the first year of the Padres? Great. All right. So, baseball boom era, 1969. And I mentioned this very early in the stream, but uh, I want a mode that does not have um, recalc. Because for a lot of these players, they only played one season. So if the game recalcs in their second season, it'll either severely diminish them or maybe even delete them or not delete them, but have them retire. Cheeky says when we changed the draft date, I think it messed up the players. Oh, that's a bummer, man. So they didn't get drafted the year before or come in the next draft pool. They just disappeared from the game. Oh, that's I wonder if that's happened every time I've changed the draft year then. Hmm. Yeah, because I've done it, but I also might not have noticed if players are missing because I was just more concerned about like my players. Um, so default mode, I think does a recalc. Replay mode definitely does. So we're going to go career mode, which does not do a recalc. And you can see here it says players will develop differently than they did in real life. We'll get hurt. We'll sign with different teams. Um, so yeah, we're going to career mode. And I think this is the first sim since I started streaming that I've streamed in career mode. So this will be a change too. I've played career mode before, but not on stream. So we do want real minor leagues because some of these players, like Dick Fitz, only have minor league stats. So we need that. Um, player development. Okay, this is where recalc is one of the options. We want recalc off. We also want use both recalc and development engine off. So we want just development engine. And um, I think we should let it expand the league. Oh, that'll be fun because if we expand the league, we won't be able to protect all of our players. So then some of these NSFW players will end up in other parts of the major leagues, which will be fun. So let's do that. We'll have it expand. Right? No, that's right. I have to while it thinks, I have to save these files so that I can so the game can find them. So I'm going to call this one an NSFW pictures. Then I'll call this one NSFW batters. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but since I was doing it while the game was thinking. Okay, this is going to be NSFW Names 1969. Um, we'll leave trading this the default. We're not going to be doing much trading, but it will be fun to see trade offers come in. And we'll be in commissioner mode. It cannot be fired. One thing you'll notice when you hop around in history, um, in your manager profile, the date of birth will change. I think it tries to keep you like around the same age. So in our sim year, we would be 30 years old. I think it tries to keep you as like a 30-year-old manager. So if we were to sim like 1929, it would change my birthday to 1899. Um, okay. All right, so what January said, I'm going to save this other file as NSFW batters. Yeah, so the text files I was making, you just have to save those in a name that you can find because once you're in the player import menu, which I'll show you how to get to, you just import that file and all those players will come in. It makes it super quick because the game churns for a while every time you import a player. And so in our case, instead of having it churn 61 times, it'll churn twice. Yeah, I made it to the finals and now down 2-0 to this all level 4 and 5 combinator team. So these iron tournaments have just turned into a lottery. Just how far can I get before I run into an all combinator team? And this time I happened to make it to the finals. So a lot of PTCS points, but losing to these combinator teams is getting pretty old. And I'm late enough to the game with combinators where it just feels like it's not worth the effort to try to catch up at this point. So kudos to the people who got into the combinators early and are making bank off of it. But the good thing is that's part of why I started streaming. I've started playing the base game more out of frustration. So, but it's turned into this, which is nice. I've had a lot of fun streaming out here and doing sharing all these crazy simulations that I used to just do on my own, and people seem to dig it. So, keep doing it. I see the game's still chewing on the cream of the season here. So this will be good. We'll have everything set up, ready to go for our first sim, whenever that might be. Hopefully it'll be tomorrow. Oh, so here's a good question is what team do you want to take over? Because what I don't want to do is add a team because once the game senses that you've made a change, it then forces you to create a new schedule. And I like to just maintain the schedule. So, you know what? As a Mets fan, I usually take over the Mets. Um, But the other part of me is like that tends to wipe out a lot of good players. Is I also may sometimes consider taking over the least relevant team in the league, which often is the worst placed team. So let's see. I think the Expos were new that year. Cheeky told us that the Padres were new that year. So let me check out the 1969 season stats. Who do we take over? Hadn't really thought this far ahead. This also might have been the first season they did divisional play, which would make sense with expansion. Oh, that would be fun. Maybe the Seattle Pilots, who become the Seattle Mariners. Although the worst records in the majors are a tie between the Expos and the Padres. Hmm. Another reason I like taking over Seattle is because when I moved to the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest, I adopted them as my AL team to go with the Mets and the NL. Is it keeps us away from the Mets until the postseason, and yeah, that's 64 wins. Not bad for an expansion team. 52 is more what I would have expected, like the Expos and the Padres. Um, who would be wiping out if we did that? Because I also just, oh, you know what? The other thing I do to prevent from wiping out players is instead of deleting them when I clear out the roster, I can just release them and then they'll get signed. Okay, let's see. Don Mincher, I know he was a power hitting first baseman, left-hander, I think. Tommy Harper, Tommy Davis, but late in his career. Then who did this? Oh, Gene Broadbender's on this team. We could have a Broadbender versus Broadbender showdown. Oh, here's the pitching staff. Okay, I think we're gonna take over the Mariners. Um, with the caveat that instead of deleting their players like I normally do, we're going to release them so they can get signed by other teams. Um, yeah, that's what we'll do. So we'll take over the Seattle Pilots. Although now in hindsight, maybe we should have taken over the Expos because frankly, they disappear anyway when they become the Nationals. Hmm. Now that I think about it, I kind of wish we'd done that instead. So I would like to still see Seattle in the standings. Okay, you know what? I think I can still change this. Yeah, because all I need to do is, because I haven't changed the team names yet. SC1 is, I think, because it was the first incarnation of Seattle, and the Mariners, I think, are known as SCA. I'm just going to change to the Expos, and I'm going to change my manager status. So because I'm in commissioner mode, I can do this. I can make myself, where is it? Maybe I have to, there's some way I can make myself the manager. So we can still do this with the Expos. It's not, I don't have to go back and restart the game. Um, how do I do it? So you guys are going to learn with, oh, here we go. Act as, currently, see it says currently SC1. I'm going to act as, launch Lactose. To properly take control of a team, please go to the available job screen. Oh, okay. All right. So I have to go. I don't want to apply. I just want to assign myself. There's got to be a way to do that. I'm in commissioner mode. That means I can control almost anything. Uh, hmm. I know there's a way to do it. I just can't seem to find it. Now I don't want to give up. Front office? Organization? No. I know there's a way besides starting this over to do this. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'm about to get swept by this all combinator team. GM and manager actions? Current active team? No. Add edit managers? No. The thing is, I don't want it to also keep me in charge of the Mariners. I want the AI to take over the Mariners. And I'm worried that the way it's set up right now, the Mariners are not going to do anything because like the AI thinks I want to also control the Mariners. Because when I go to this open jobs thing, it still has this pressed in as if I'm the manager of the Mariners. So maybe I do have to start it over, which would be a bummer. There's a lot of stuff in game settings. Maybe it's in here. Oh, I wonder if it's in. So you can go to league structure. So this is where I would change the names of the teams, but I wonder if I can also change who's controlling them. No, not from here. But that seems promising. A lot of stuff you can find in this menu here. Hmm. All right, maybe I do have to start it over. Oh, I know. I can go into the Seattle Pilots and their settings. No. Trying to find that screen where it says what's controlled by the AI and what's controlled by the human. I was going to switch everything to be controlled by the AI, but I can't seem to find that. I thought it would be here. Who does it have as their? Does it still list me as their GM? Yeah, it just still has me as their GM. Can I fire myself? Can I fire myself from here? Okay. Uh, I'm just gonna create a new game. There's probably a way to do it, but okay. So we'll check the imports. If all goes well, we'll save it and it'll be ready to run. Okay, we're gonna call this. It might be the same name. If it is, it might tell me or it might save over it. I think it would not have been worth moving forward with that when without finding a clear way to take myself off of the Mariners too, and risk having a starting the sim with like one team that has like no management. So I'd rather bite the bullet and make the change now, even though means taking an extra 5 minutes for the game to churn on it. The other option would have been to take over the Padres, but deleting them would not have been kind to Cheeky, so we weren't going to do that. It didn't take too long. All right, so we're going to take over the Expos, since they're going to disappear eventually anyway. I feel better about this choice. Now, the one important thing we need to do is, if you will recall, in our text file, right, I designated our abbreviation as FTM for Franchise Time Machine. One of the benefits of that is we can decide to replace any team we want. And so in this case, it's going to come in handy because if we had chosen Montreal or Seattle or San Diego in advance and then wanted to change our minds, we'd have to go back through and edit that entire document again. Instead, we're just going to change the destination team abbreviation and our file's ready to go. Yeah, I'm excited to do highlights of these games. Well, actually, I might just do play by play in the entire game because part of the highlights going to be watching all these players come to bat and pitch. So, but I'm looking forward to doing that. I've I've never done it till I started streaming because I sit there and watch the simulations and look at the results. But it's been fun. I think it'll be fun with these players. So, okay. So the first thing we're gonna do is, oh, look at that. We played the Mets too. First game. Awesome. We need to make sure we change that abbreviation. Otherwise, it's going to screw everything up. So we'll go to league settings, league structure. And again, it says league structure, but by not changing, by not like removing or adding teams, it's going to maintain the league structure. So we don't have to create a new schedule. So franchise. I wonder if I can do franchise time machine here and then say NSFW names. If it accepts it, that'd be awesome. Okay. So the best way I know how to do that is change screens. Oh, awesome. Our full team name is our franchise time machine NSFW names. Perfect. Um, it hasn't changed the abbreviation of that. So let's go to another screen. Oh, that's right. If you go to a different team and then you come back to the team, now the abbreviation has changed. Okay. And now to avoid confusion, let's change our logo. And we're going to select, I've uploaded this previously. If you want to do this yourself, you can. You just have to find this path. Mine's in Steam, so it starts in a Steam folder. Um, but anyway, if you go to add a logo, you'll find the file path, and it's under logos / nicknames, and you can upload all the logos you want. And so here's my logo here. Okay, change that. And if you also notice on the uniform, it changed it on the ball cap. Changed it in the standings too. So, okay, we're all set to go. Now we're ready to import. Now, I did say we're just going to release all these players. Oh, wow, this has a full minor leagues too. Awesome. Um, let's see what their AAA looks like. Oh, they don't have a AAA. Just an A and B. Wow. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen then in this case when we do this. So this will be interesting. All right, so we're going to release. You see here it says clone, retire, delete. Um, oh, we're gonna have to pay their salaries, I think, to release them. It didn't seem to. We'll check our finances, but it didn't seem to. Oh, I didn't mean to retire that guy. I just meant to release him. But let's see what it did to our finances. Front office finances. Okay, it didn't seem to charge us their salaries, um, which is good. Okay, so now we have no player. I'm gonna save it here. Just well, actually, let me make all the other changes. Here are the changes I like to make sure I do before starting a sim. So we're gonna do this. Make sure injuries are off. Change the influence of the popularity on All-Star voting. The default is high, which is why true to life. I turn it to off, so if our players perform well, they can make the All-Star team. Um, one thing I was surprised to learn is if you bring players in from across time, their popularity goes to 0. So let me make these changes, then we'll save, and then we'll try importing. Yep, I was swept out of that late iron 2 by the all combinator team. So, but I made it there with only 2 combinators. That's pretty good. Um, well, yeah, we're going to make those changes. So most of them are under game settings. Under players, oh, you know what? I normally turn injuries off, but for this sim, because we do multi-year, we're going to leave injuries on. I think it'll be a bummer if someone gets hurt, but that lets us bring another name off the reserve and into the game. So it'll make it more interesting and fun, I think. I do still want the All-Star voting change though, because it would be great if some of these names get into the All-Star game. That'd be awesome. So that's under options, influence of popular and All-Star vote. We'll make that none. I do not want pitchers to win the MVP award. And then we're not gonna speed sim this, but just in case, I'm gonna turn all these off. By doing that, I create a de facto autoplay without it. Oh, here's what I was looking for. I was looking for this. Remember when I wanted to give control back to the Mariners? That's what I was looking for. It's under manager options, apparently. Okay. And then I want to leave the mailbox. Since we've been playing game by game, we're going to look at the mail pretty often. So I'm going to leave all these on, and then eventually you might start trimming some of them away. Like some like these minor awards, I think also includes awards for minor leagues, and we're not going to really care about the minor leagues. So that's one that we might turn off. Okay, so now we're ready to import a player. So I'm going to save it here real quick, just in case something goes wrong with our import. Okay, so we should be ready to go. So all the importing happens in the free agent screen. So I go here to import historical players, and you select this database. How do I know this? I know this because I have another checklist here on how to import. Prepare your destination. In our case, it was releasing all those players. Go to the free agent page, actions, import historical players from the database, historical database, and then enter your historical player IDs or upload your text file. So the top here is where you can enter individual player IDs and years. That would take forever. So in our case, we're going to upload. Let's start with the 32 picture file first. Should be 32 players imported here. Okay, so now that file's there. Going to import them. Now keep in mind, if we did this without the text files, it'd be 61 players. You'd have to sit through this churn 61 times. And it's not an insignificant amount of churn. Again, we're looking to import 32 pictures. So if it says, congratulations, you've imported X players, and it's anything less than 32, we know we had a problem. And I made these little checklists because I want anyone who wants to do this kind of sim to be able to do it quickly and well. So I think this is one of the really fun parts about the base game is you can, like, the only limitation is your creativity on like what sets of teams, what sets of players you want to bring together from across time. And these text files make it very easy. 32 players, perfect. Okay, so it brought in all 32 players. So let's go take a look now at our roster. There they are. Oh, look at that. Awesome. Even Beavers, who is a minor leaguer. Yes. Yeah, see, because if you look at his real life stats, this is major league stats. He has no stats. All levels combined, he has minor league stats. So it found him. Dick Fitz is the other one I was worried about because he's also a minor league only. So let's make sure he's. I mean, he must be because it imported 32 players. Yep, here he is. I think in 2024 he's pitching AAA. So let's see. They have him until last year, which makes sense because his 2024 is not done yet. So this is great. And how are his what's his profile? He's got a little bit of runway to improve. He's not going to be great, but he's in the game. That's awesome. Nice. Okay, that's a total success. All right, so then we have to bring in our 29 batters. So let's import them next. We'll go back to that import screen. Which is through the free agent screen. We'll repeat that same process for this other file now, which is NSF batter. Okay, now this should be 29 players. I don't know if it's my imagination, but this one seems okay. 29 players imported. Excellent. Now, the one thing I was worried about on the batter side is for Spotswood polls, if it brought in his uh okay, Heavy Johnson too. Yeah. See, this happens with Negro League players. It brings in these like really diminished versions of them. So let me make a note here. Heavy Johnson, and I'm guessing too Spotswood polls. Yeah, it's bringing in like super weakened versions of themselves. There's something their data exists and it's correct in the Negro League um seasons that we're trying to pull from. But for some reason it's not importing, and I asked about it in the forums, and one of the OT developers says that it's just not possible to bring in the correct version. I'll show you an example. Glaringly, obviously, Josh Gibson, when I tried to bring in for a previous sim. When I do the import, you get the Josh Gibson on the left. When you go into that season and you look up Josh Gibson in the Negro Leagues, you get the profile on the right. And according to OTP developers, you cannot import this version from the right for some reason. I didn't get a good explanation why. I'm hoping it gets fixed now that the Negro League data is merged with the Major League data. And in OOTP 26, this won't happen. I think it's kind of unfortunate that you have this kind of discrepancy and that it can't be resolved. But what we can do is go into like 1922, for example, I think was for spots with polls, and we can pull up this profile and we'll just screenshot it and copy all those numbers into the profile here. I'll show you how to use editor mode to do that. We'll do that on the next stream. And we'll just have to correct um, spots with polls, Heavy Johnson. I think that's it. Uh, the rest of these players, I think, just weren't very good, like George Bone, um, Bocock. Yeah, he played for St. Louis in the American League, so it's not a Negro League issue. He was just not a good player. Um, I'll do a double check too to make sure, because if we're going to do it once, we might as well do it. Um, if we're going to do it anyway, we might as well do them all at once. I think those are the only two, though. The rest of these half-star players are just like not very good players, just had funny names. But yeah, this is good. This is what I'm hoping for. We have a good mix of talent. So we've got some 4 and 5 star players, including Jack Glasscock. 5 star Jack Glasscock. Nice. I mean, I had a sneak preview of this because I Rock This, who's another streamer, by the way. If you aren't following him, you should follow I Rock This. Um, he had shared a screenshot where he had used Jack Glasscock in Immaculate Grid for second baseman with over 40 career WAR, and I didn't realize his WAR was that high. Um, and it must be the baseball reference WAR because in the game it's only 30.9. But anyway, still pretty high. I was surprised. But yeah, so which version? So in editor, you can see we're if this is 1884 that we're grabbing. Yeah, so 1884 is yeah, right at the start of his yeah, we're not getting him at the peak, so we're gonna catch his peak though if we do a few years sim. Nice. 5 star Jack Glasscock. Who would have thought? So our star players at the start of the season were Joe Adcock with 3.5 stars. Or I can sort by overall. Let's do that. Jack Glasscock, Randy Johnson, Albert Pujols, Mel Harder, and Seth Moorhead are our 3.5 star. And then we got a couple three stars. We got Gene Broadbender, Woody Held, and Urban Shocker. So we've got a good mix. We got some, and then some with higher potential that hopefully will develop while we're playing, like Cannonball Titcomb. And then some of these on the tail end, they're just never going to be good. But, oh, look, Dick Fitz has a 1.5 star potential. Heavy Johnson will get corrected when we find his Negro League data. Um, and the same goes for Scotswood Poles, who's down here too. Yeah. I see Jabot and Red Woodhead, they're just bad players. So theirs is not a Negro League issue. Okay, this is great. I think we're in a really good spot now to fix those Negro League player issues, and then maybe do a game 1 sim on our next. Oh, you know what? I was doing all that, and I still had the Josh Gibson page up. Sorry about that. Yeah. Um. So yeah. So let's find someone streaming OOTP to raid into, and then hope y'all got your drops. First time I was able to offer drops tonight. I was very excited about that. So let's search. Oh, out of the park. Baseball 25 for someone to raid into. Okay, it is just us. So I know the last time this happened, Cheeky had a good suggestion, which was to find MLB The Show. And maybe some of them will be convinced to look into Out of the Park Baseball. Let's see, we got first partner stream, #1 ranked. Hmm. All right, let's write into this guy. Cafe loves BR. That's what we're going to write into. Is it not going to let me read? Let me try that again. Ah, bummer. This does that sometimes. I think it's doing that thing where it doesn't think I'm logged into Twitch again. All right, there's one thing I can do to test for this. If I go to my Twitch inventory and I try to claim a pack, I always leave some packs unclaimed now so I can test for this. If I try to claim a pack, yeah, it didn't work. So it thinks it's that annoying thing where it thinks I'm not logged in. And that when it happened last time, Cheeky suggested that I type it into the stream shot on OBS and it worked. But it doesn't seem to be working today. Bummer. I might just have to end the stream. Let me try one more time. Yeah, it's not working. Huh. That's a bummer. And there's like no rhyme or reason to when Twitch does this to me. And then it'll suddenly start working and I'll be able to start claiming drops again and stuff. But when it's in this mode, I don't know how to get out of it. Like Cheeky showed me a bunch of different things to try, including one of them was like trying to access Twitch in Firefox. And it was probably just coincidence, but when I tried that, it wouldn't let me log in. But then all of a sudden, the drops claiming trick worked, so it did seem like it worked. But then the next time I tried it, it didn't work, and then it just randomly started working again. So I'm gonna try it a few more times just because I don't want to give up on raiding in somewhere. But Plus, like, that would be great to show to maybe spark some interest in OOTP in some MLB The Show players. Yeah, it's not working. It's a real bummer too, because this is going to happen at a time when I'm going to, try to raid into like Shiki or somebody, and it's not going to work. I don't know. If anyone ever runs into this problem and knows how to fix it, please let me know. All I can find online is that it says to clear your cache, but every time I've done that, all it does then is like, at least like here, I can still stream, even though it doesn't think I'm logged in. When it clears my cache, it won't even let me start streaming anymore. And so, like, I can't have that either. Um, so it's really frustrating. Apparently, like, these people have been posting the same question for like years, and apparently, like, Twitch doesn't either, like, hasn't fixed it or isn't inclined to fix it, or the problem keeps changing in a way that, like, new people are still asking the same question, but it seems like it's an ongoing thing for years. Let me try this again. Yeah, it's not, like the raid window, like I start typing raid and it says find the perfect raid. Let's see if it's any different if I use the raid browser. Okay, well that's not working either. All right, I'm gonna try a few more times and then I'm just gonna end the stream because if I don't know, I need to find a long-term solution to this though, because if it happens at the end of the stream and I have like right now we're at what 14 or 15, but and we're looking to raid into a stranger that's not even doing OTP. But what if it's like more than that, and I'm looking to raid into someone who is OTP and a fellow affiliate? That'll be a real bummer. Hmm. I mean, I doubt the problem is the person I'm trying to raid into. But let's try this other one. Let's try Manic. Nope. Yeah, it's almost definitely this issue because it's not letting me claim drops, which is what I found is like the canary in the coal mine for when I'm having this issue that thinks I'm not logged in. All right, let me refresh everything and give it one last ditch effort. Then when I go to my Twitch dashboard, it says you're live, meaning me, meaning it does know I'm logged in. Let me try this one last time. Oh, it's not working. Yep. All right. Well, I tried. It's not rating into anybody, so I guess I'll just end the stream here, unfortunately. But hopefully y'all got some drops and had fun revisiting some of these NSFW player names. And see you next time when we go ahead and actually start simming after we correct these Negro League data issues, which should only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll jump right into the Sims. All right, see you guys next time. Bye.